What up, y'all? It's your boy KAIZEN, your #1 resident sleeper. Now that he is awake and in this lovely forest, we're gonna go ahead and give you a tour guide of the Forest of Awakening. Thank you, Asha. I'll take it from here. So we're gonna be doing the normal version. The extreme will be later down the road, and we're gonna go ahead and start with this deer, horse, this moose, Arbo. Right off the bat, Arbo's main shtick, you'll notice right away, is that his neutralized gauge, its neutralized gauge is locked. No matter how many times I try to destroy it, it won't go down. So how do we do that? Well, there will be times where we'll get to switch sides. And that's one of those times now. This device will allow us to switch sides, in which case we'll be able to damage the neutralized gauge. But KAIZEN, what's that flower gauge? And your HP is going down. Well, turns out that Arbo has this thing between life and death. Put it simply, if you're on this pretty blue side, you're safe and the damage is pretty normal, but if you're on the other side, you get to unlock neutralized gauge and your HP goes down slowly. How do we combat it? See these flowers, they have different shades of color. The lighter colored flowers will increase our flower gauge. The higher our flower gauge, the longer we'll be able to stay on the other side. We'll call that side the side of death, and then in here the side of life. It's thematic. You can see I'm not doing that much damage. Now we're going to be forced to go to the other side. Time for the first major gimmick, time of life and death. Your goal here is to break Arbo's neutralized gauge before the time runs out. If you max out your flower gauge, you'll be able to do some extra damage and extra neutralized damage. It's quite a lengthy fight. Take your time, don't take your time too much. You can see when you destroy the gauge, you'll be rewarded with a hefty 250% damage multiplier. All it means is you break the gauge. You can go on fighting this boss without having to, fine, but of course it will take a lot longer. So TLDR, switch sides, break his gauge, keep your gauge up. Cycle of death. That was a little too quick, hopefully he does it again. There you go, cycle of life and death. You'll see that there's a color on top of Arbo's antlers. Depending on the color, you will want to stay in that realm. Blue is on the side of life. Cycle of death, yeah, switch sides. Just for that moment, and then you can go back. Cycle of life, stay on the blue side. When you see these bright colored flowers, make it a habit to charge up your flower gauge. So whenever you go to the side of death, you'll be able to neutralize some of it. full flower gauge will net you extra overall damage when you switch over to the cycle of death, which is pretty nice. Here you go. Ouch. Now we're just chilling. I'm gonna fill up the gauge again so we can get that bonus neutralized damage. There it is. And every break. Out of all the bosses that we have to fight, Arbo is the only boss in this Legion dungeon where it's only 1 bar of health. Okay, this is the other fun part. See this path? We are trying to slow him down. These 2 circles are where you want to place these slow zones. So when you get into this power behind the circle gimmick, you'll be able to complete it right away. Again, the goal is to prevent Arbo from reaching his goal, which is that red circle towards the end. But the red circles that latch onto you, you'd want to place it on spots where Arbo will be slowed down. The ideal spots would be at the corners because Arbo would still have to make a U-turn and all that. That is it for Arbo. One bar. Alright, up next is one of my favorite bosses in this Legion dungeon, Beahtti. Or Betty? It doesn't sound like a Betty. But this cute fire, samurai, squirrel, monk, hermit has a very simple and straightforward gimmick. Fill up your air gauge. So these floating air balls. Use the device. And jump on him. What that does is it will deplete some of his gauge, his neutralized gauge, and give you a hefty damage bonus. You can also use this to disarm these bombs or avoid them if you don't make it in time. Personally, I would wait it out, jump all the way up in the air to avoid it, and then jump and defeat. Ready? Explosion, one of his main gimmicks. Simple, use the device to jump after collecting enough air. Then just lay waste. And that's it. As long as you have those fiery tendrils on you, the damage bonus will stay active. In which case, you just destroy him. Did I make it? Doesn't matter. Phase 2, more of his skills will be unlocked. This is the part where some of his skills linger. Be patient. His fire card will now follow you. No big deal. Collect air. Okay, after these two explosions, I'll jump in the air and cause those bombs. So make sure you have your device ready to go so you can avoid it, or you know, you can always use your iPhone. Oh, I missed. Okay, flame tornado. Now the air energy becomes flame energy. You're gonna wanna avoid these attacks and collect as much flame energy as you can. Once you're fully maxed out, wait. We wait. You wanna wait until the flame tornado is just about to empty the bar. Use the device. And then we take to the skies to avoid this attack. And then we jump on top of them. This only happens in phase 2, so you don't have to worry about it too much. But when it does happen, you'll know. My veterans out there, you recognize that this is similar to Eclair's attack, where you have to collect your teammates to avoid the Dragon Blast, and then jump on the tornado last minute to avoid the attack. Again, we want to just relax here. Take your time. He will constantly move the device all over the place, so try to keep moving. And that should be it for Beahtti. You'll be able to avoid most, if not all, of his attacks by collecting the air energy, filling up the gauge, and using the device. You have a good couple of seconds to avoid anything that comes in the way, and then you can use that last bit to jump on Beahtti to deal that neutralize gauge, give yourself a really nice attack bonus. Now we're going to be facing Ergon. It's a cute little box, question mark. His main gimmick, very, very simple. We'll have these pillars with timers on them, similar to Beahtti's. You let them expire, they will explode, and they will hurt a lot. You'll also notice that there's a green indicator. If you don't find it in time, it will expire. But basically, it will lead you to where the smaller rock is to disable the pillars. It's a nice little mini game after you bump into the rocks. The green light will point you to the direction of where this little rock is located. And with that being said, we have one of his attack patterns where we have to break 6 pillars. You'll also notice that I have my very own neutralize gauge debuff bar thing gauge. You use the device to activate it. After each pillar, these effects do not stack, so if you want to make the most out of them, do it one at a time. And that's pretty much it for Ergon. These pillars will also give you a nice attack bonus. You can see it by this stringy light on your character. Again, if you take to break a pillar and retain the previous effect, those effects will not stack. So if you want to take advantage of it while your gauge is full, use the device to inflict some neutralized gauge on Ergon. A nice effect would be to time the duration. You can hold the neutralized gauge effect indefinitely, so long as you don't use the device. So what you can do is collect the attack bonus from destroying a pillar. Until absolutely necessary. So we can use it for next time. Again, when you don't find it in time, it will disappear. So do your best to locate it right away. There it is. You can see I'm holding on to the neutralized damage because his gauge is basically broken. Now he's gonna move on to his next phase, which is basically more of the same. I'm gonna collect this buff first. Just kidding. Use the device, inflict some neutralized damage. In between his main attacks, you have these normal attacks where you're just testing your reflexes. Ouch, that hurt. Okay. His main attacks will vary, but solving them is basically the same thing. Bump into a pillar, look for the matching rock. Do that 6 times. And try not to die while doing it. He's almost dead here, so I really don't have to take advantage of the neutralized damage. Okay. That's Ergon. And now you're gone. This boss is one of the simplest bosses in Forest of Awakening, the Awakened Guardian. This boss only has one gimmick, and that is Rising Earth. In which case, you will see these floating pickaxes, which, when picked up, will let you pass through these purple crystals. These purple crystals will act as obstacles for you because, of course, you're trying to get away and kind of not get hit. This is one variation of the Rising Earth that involve lasers. There will be another variation of Rising Earth where you will see blue crystals. Perfect, just like this one. These have timers on them, so if you let them explode, it will cause a huge AoE damage. And you can destroy those blue crystals with the pickaxe energy. You just pass through them, like so. So this one takes advantage of the laser and the crystals. Prioritize the crystals first, and then get to a safe spot. And I'm sure you've seen it in your games before. This blue miasma. Find a safe zone. Avoid the blue miasma because it explodes. And that's it. After picking up so much pickaxe energy, as we'd call it, you'll notice that you have a gauge on your own. If you once it's full, you can use this device and you will basically ignore damage while giving yourself some of your own. Just like so. And yeah, that's pretty much Awakened Guardian. Once you understand that these pickaxes will let you destroy these purple crystals, these exploding ores, and understanding that the goal really is to just avoid them using the pickaxe, then you will breeze through this boss with no problem at all. In my opinion, Awakened Guardian has the easiest patterns. Well, not really patterns, but the easiest concept of its gimmick. Floating pickaxes, pick them up, avoid damage by throwing the crystals, find a safe zone, easy peasy. Almost always, these crystals will provide the safe zone that you need to dodge the blue miasma or the exploding ore. Just kidding, not the exploding ore. Those will hurt you no matter what. Okay, looks like our fair lady has awakened, but has the same, more or less the same gimmicks. Now it's got a exploding ore that moves. Nothing too different, they just move now. Pass through them before the timer runs out. Easy peasy. Looks like my energy is full. I'll activate the device. Stand here just to show you I don't take any damage. But I also get more damage. It's nice. Okay. Prioritize the bombs. A little bit of a bullet hell here. You got those galaxy looking attacks as well. Keep that energy going or you could use the device to avoid everything. Really simple. And that's the Awakened Guardian. Very fun, very easy, very simple. I hope you guys enjoyed this 4 boss, 4 Rest of Awakening. There goes the Animorphs. Etchaboikaizen, quoting one of the most wonderful ladies to ever grace my screen here in the world of Arid. Don't get lost in the forest. Catch you guys later.